Welcome to another edition of Closer to Home Small Business Spotlight. So many times when we are starting that process with a seller on listing a property, where to begin, where to go with it, and there's a lot of stress involved because it can be overwhelming when you think of the project as a whole. And decluttering and organizing and staging is a big piece of that. I'm with Rosetta Metz today with Let Us Organize. We have been working, I think, 8-9 years now together in staging and organizing. And I think really you're an excellent lead for this process in helping people take that step. So tell me a little bit about you and your background with Let Us Organize.
So I am the youngest of 11. So I pretty much was born into chaos, as I put it.
Yes, right away with that.
Yeah, and I've always kind of been drawn to organizing anything. So I do have a background I used to be a business systems analyst. And then I was also a librarian. And I was also an operations manager and did a lot of organizing people, process, the space, moving people, moving offices, helping people be more efficient.
Okay.
So I have a couple certifications. I have a black belt in process. It's not karate.
No. Thank goodness. That might be a little intimidating for some.
Six Sigma type, and it's all about being more efficient with your processes.
Okay.
So when I work with businesses, I help them, and I also use it when I'm helping people in their homes and helping them with their day-to-day and helping people when they're starting to, like we do, help people downsize or help them get ready to move to another area, and where do they, begin to do all that.
Gotcha. Okay. So typically when you start that process, where do you have people begin? What are the questions they come to you with that look on their face that's a little bit deer in the headlights?
Yeah, they're
How do you help
overwhelmed.
relieve that? Yeah. What's that first step?
Yeah, so the first step is just basically going to their home and kind of having just a conversation and learning about what their goals are. If they're planning on selling their home and they need me to help them in that whole process, I usually want to talk with the realtor.
Okay.
Because it's really important that I'm in sync with the realtor's timeline and everything that the realtor is picturing, because they're their expert in selling their home.
Right.
I'm the expert in helping them get to that process so they can sell their home, meaning helping them clear things out, helping them maybe stage, things like that. But I'm relying on the realtor to be able to give me their timeline and what their expectations are of how they want the home to look.
So you can match that as well.
Yeah.
And I know we've certainly done that when we do walkthroughs as well to help them understand, and even the client understand, yep, it's a process, we have an organization, this can work, we just want to make sure we have the right timing.
Yeah.
So, okay, gotcha. What are the biggest questions people ask you when you first connect, whether it is about getting ready to sell a property or whether it is even helping within a business?
Well, if they're getting ready to sell their property and they've been living in that home probably over 10 plus years, they have a lot of stuff.
Okay.
And so I will start with, are you planning on letting some of this stuff go? Are you giving it to your kids? A lot of times they think they can give it to their kids, but their kids have no interest in it.
Right.
So then I have to help them through the processes. So I'm here to give them all the resources that they need. So do they need someone to sell it for them? Do they need an estate sale? Do they need to put maybe a big garbage thing in the front of their house?
Right.
Do they need me to help them go through that process? Or is it the next level where I'm going to tell them, maybe you need somebody else to do this.
Gotcha.
And they would take it out and put it into the bins for them, that type of thing, depending on the level of it. But it's a step-by-step process. So what I do is I'll go room by room, I take photos, and I put a plan together and basically say, this is what is your timeline? And then we have to do this by this date, this by this date.
Setting those milestones.
So it's just little at a time, and then they feel less overwhelmed. You can't just do it all at once.
No, you've taught me that a lot of times. I'll just let people know. Start with a room, and when you finish that room, be done for the day. Then go to the next room. Don't
Exactly.
make it a process. For all of these other pieces as well, if someone wants to sell something or donate something, or they need to just, it needs to be junked at some point, do you have other businesses that you work with that you can refer that
I
are
do.
good partners for you?
Yes, yes,
Okay.
yes. So I'll call them, I'll give them all of the information, and I like to give them more than one.
Okay.
That way they have a choice, and they also have to feel good with who they're working with.
Right.
So not everybody's personalities are the same, so I like to give them choices.
Right. Okay. Gotcha. It's all really, really helpful in just having those options of where to go and who to work with at that point and where to start. So,
Right.
any other last thoughts or comments?
No, to just anybody out there doing that, just take your time. Moving is the most stressful thing you can do.
Right.
It's really people don't realize it until they're in it.
Right. And I know that's part of our process, and our goal is just to take that stress off and let people see the path and not just tighten up with that as well. So I appreciate that. Thank you for the information and for the time. So,
Well, thank you for having me. This was great.
Absolutely. If you have additional questions, certainly reach out to Rosetta. She can help you with all your organization needs. If you have any questions about the real estate market, about listing or selling, don't hesitate to reach out. I'm happy to help, happy to guide that process. And always, just remember, when you work with Paul, you're closer to home.